We are born into and live our daily lives in a fallen world. From the moment your alarm clock goes off in the morning, your nervous system is immediately bombarded with all of the tasks, responsibilities, and daily challenges that lie ahead of you. You turn on the news or start scrolling through social media, and all you see is conflict, division, tragedy, fear, uncertainty, and turmoil. Maybe someone angers you by cutting you off in traffic on your way to a job that constantly stresses you out and makes you feel unfulfilled. You find your patience, empathy, and compassion for others wearing more and more thin with every interaction. Days of unhappiness turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and you begin to feel as if you're watching a terrible movie on repeat, and you don't know how to turn it off. So how do we break this cycle that so many of us have come to accept as normal? How do we rise above and begin to take control of all of our negativity, cynicism, anger, and selfishness? By becoming a new creation. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the Apostle Paul gave us all clear instructions on how to become a new creation in his letters to the Corinthian church. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, Paul states, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here." When things in our lives, such as clothing, habits, beliefs, and even relationships with other people, no longer fit or contribute to our own individual well-being, what do? Or in many cases, what are we afraid to do? We must discard or replace them with something that better suits us. In Ephesians chapter 4, Paul reinforces the truth that we should no longer walk through life in ignorance with futile minds and hardened hearts as the Gentiles do, for they have become callous and have given themselves up to sensuality, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. These words, written nearly 2 millennia ago, could just as easily be used to describe a person living in our present chaotic, fallen world. Does this type of behavior sound like anyone you know? Could it even possibly be used to describe you? Once again, Paul gives us clear and simple directions on escaping this type of mindset and ultimately guiding us to a new and more beneficial way of both thinking and living, the truth of Jesus Christ. Ephesians 4, verse 21 through 24 states, "Assuming that you have heard about him and were taught in him, as the truth is in Jesus, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness." In order to be a new creation and to put on a new self, we must first renew our minds. Science has shown that, on average, humans have roughly 6.5 thoughts per minute, and in total can have between 6,000 all the way up to 70,000 thoughts per day. What's even more astounding is that of all those thousands and thousands of daily thoughts that run through our brains, 95% of those thoughts are repetitive, and out of those 95% of repetitive thoughts, 75 to 80% of those thoughts are negative. Whether you realize it or not, most of us are living our lives each and every single day in a constant cycle of negative thinking, which eventually becomes our default mode of operating. Does this sound like an ideal way to think and live your life? Much like a garden or a farmer's field that is designed to bear much fruit, our minds must also be tended to in similar ways. We must gaze inwardly at each of our thoughts, just as a farmhand assesses his crops, weeding out any and all invasive pests that may harm our yield. The soil in which we plant our seeds must routinely be watered and maintained. Through continuous effort and labor, we will watch our seeds begin to sprout and grow taller and more bountiful day by day until the time comes to harvest, so that we may eventually enjoy and share the rewards of our hard and diligent labor. So ask yourself, am I tending to my mind in a way that will produce bountiful and beautiful flowers? Or am I leaving the soil and seedlings untreated, unkept, and left to chance? Renewing your mind and becoming a new creation in Christ requires both effort and practice. Some days you may find it to be an easy task. On other days it may be the most challenging thing that you will face. Each new dawn brings its own unique trials and tribulations that none of us are free from. But by carrying the teachings of Jesus in our hearts and minds, we are more than equipped to handle them. As you begin your walk in becoming a new creation, remember Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more content to guide and inspire you as you become a new creation. God bless.